What made the popular guy girl lose their popularity? Story 1. A popular boy cried in class during a discussion about a recent tragedy because someone close to him died in that said tragedy. He got relentlessly bullied for a short time afterward at that school. He was a good kid that didn't deserve any of that. Story 2. A popular girl was driving drunk on the way to school and caused a pretty bad accident involving three other cars. She spilled liquor on herself and slammed on the brakes in a line of vehicles. Her car managed to not have a scratch. She swapped seats with her passenger in front of everyone before the cops arrived. A few minutes later, we realized she's disappeared. She had slipped into another car that had stopped to see if everyone was okay. Several people ended up getting tickets, and her passenger ended up getting a DUI. She was unpopular until graduation. Story 3. I was in school. A girl who was quite popular decided she could make fun of another kid's Down syndrome sibling in front of her friends. Well, the popular kids in my school weren't jerks, so they didn't laugh and turned their backs on her. So she was a loner for the rest of the year and went goth the next, then moved. It wasn't funny at the time, nor is it funny now. Story 4. He was popular among the people he was associated with. He was not super popular or anything. Punk, grunge kid. All his popularity went out the window when he got out of his car after he crashed it into a building because he was huffing paint and speeding down the road with one of the group's popular girls. Thankfully, she survived, but from what I recall, he wasn't remembered so fondly after that. Story 5. A girl in my hometown was always picking on this guy in her class, making fun of his last name, picking on his mom and his little brother. Nothing physical. I think people just thought it was a bit of ribbing. Nothing so bad anyone felt the need to intervene. Then one day, his family was in a car accident, and he was the only one to survive. When he returned to school, she said something like, couldn't even get dying right. Insert name she used to pick on him. It was so bad after that, she switched schools, but her reputation followed her. She tried rushing a sorority in college. But wouldn't you know, the story followed her there too. Story 6. I went to the same school as the kids of the prime minister of my country at the time. I didn't know the daughter too well, but apparently she went from being popular to being bullied out of the school when her dad lost the election. It was sad that people started hating her for something she had no control over. Story 7. In 5th grade, we moved and I changed schools. I went from a school in the city where everyone got along and was my friend to a school in the suburbs where I was introduced to popular and unpopular for the first time. As a fat, quiet kid, I was quickly deemed unpopular and took my fair share of abuse. Around March or April, my teacher moved our desks around and set up islands of 4 to 5 desks around the room except for 2. The most popular boy in school, who was a troublemaker in class, and I, who moved our desks right up next to the side of hers. I later found out that she did it for 2 reasons. 1, to keep an eye on him, and 2, she felt I'd be a good influence on him. A funny thing happened. Between then and the end of school, we became best friends, and I became the second most popular kid. I started getting invited to birthday parties. Kids stopped being creepy to me. I got invited to play football at lunch, and girls liked me. It was amazing. Then summer happened, and we were in different classes the following year. He forgot about me, moved, and everyone went back to treating me like shit. That's my little story about losing popularity. Story 8. He punched some girl at my school in the face for no reason at a concert. Shortly after this, the news was that he rode his brand new Camaro going 95 in a 45. This caused him and another guy at our school many injuries. His friend lost his entire ear in the accident. This was right after they stole beer from Kroger. They were drunk driving. Anyways, people kept their distance after this. Another kid that came to mind was someone trendy in our grade. One of my friends went to his house and used his computer without permission. My friend ended up finding terabytes of child porn on his PC. From what I heard, the FBI even got involved. He was never seen at school again after that. Story 9. In 6th grade, one of my classmates brought $90-ish to school. They were going to go shopping after school. She was the most popular girl in class. At some point during the day, the money went missing. Our teacher went to the superintendent's office across the hall from our class. This was a small school with only 212 kids from kindergarten up to 12th grade. Within minutes, they had put us all out of class and separated the boys and girls. The 5th grade teacher took the girls into the bathroom 3 times and strip searched them, and the superintendent handled all of us boys. I didn't take the money, but I got in the stall, locked it, and refused to come out. I had some severe skid marks that day, and no one on this earth needed a root around in my underpants. He finally gave up and let me go. The cops showed up a few hours later and interviewed us individually. A few weeks later, she forgot to bring the money to school, which was in her bedroom the whole time. Despite us being in a rural area and the next nearest school being 30 miles away, the backlash was bad enough that her parents pulled her out of school and sent her to the next town over. In retrospect, people fuck up, and our anger at her was misplaced compared to the mountain of lawsuits that should have come down on the superintendent. Story 10. I went to a private high school with a middle school as well. The guys who were famous in middle school were typically the center of the popular crowd going into high school. It also helped that they got free to be on the sports teams first year. A group of guys was the center of popularity for 3 of the 4 years by being bro douches and flaunting the fact that they gotta go to parties and chew dip. Slowly though, everyone got tired of them and was less insecure about acting like themselves and not trying to fit in. So the douchey bros eventually faded away during senior year into their little clique of 5 dudes who stopped being invited to most of the parties that the rest of the class, many of the kids who used to get bullied included, went to. Story 11. A guy bragged about how he slept with 3 girls at the school for a solid week. It turns out 2 of them got pregnant. That was terrible luck, but that wasn't what made him unpopular. What made him unpopular was that one of the pregnant girls was known as the innocent religious girl and genuinely wanted to wait until marriage before having sex. Her friends started questioning why she had changed her standards so suddenly. It turns out she was raped. Story 12. He was in my grade. We were seniors, and it was the last few days of school. He and some of his buddies, who were also popular but not nearly as much, decided to vandalize the school. At night, they spray painted dicks and stuff all over the outside of the place. They also spread the words, "could have done worse," on the big entryway doors in the front. Well, they got caught. Their punishment? None of them graduated. They all had to repeat the year. Everyone thought they were idiots after that. According to one of my friends, who was a grade younger, many people would say, "could have done better," to them in passing. Story 13. I was somewhat part of that crowd, and God, was there much drama. One of the girls got shunned by practically our whole grade after it was revealed that she slept with the boyfriend of this other well-liked girl. They were the it couple. She got lots of judgment about it, though somehow the guy got away with it without much issue. I almost felt bad for her. But then I didn't because the year before, she made the Spanish teacher cry by being so rude. And later in the year, she was caught cheating in bio and pressuring this brilliant girl to give her the answers. So she wasn't exactly a good person. Story 14. One girl was harassing a kid in middle school and took her friends to make fun of him and grab his junk constantly. Nobody cared until he went to the middle of the basketball court and shot himself in front of the staff when they were trying to calm him down. Nobody got in trouble, but she and her friends were some of the most hated among the students there. There used to be a memorial by the basketball court, but after it was vandalized, she was the first to be blamed.